Mike. That's where you get the truth. It's like all the politicians, they give their speech, and right after they're like, I hate these scum of the earth people. I hope they all die.
Dude, so tell me, hold on. First of all, yeah, I never know how to start these. That's the only thing. It's always weird. But, dude, I mean, I've never seen such disappointment as when you opened your sandwich today. I can't even tell you.
That's happened to me before. When I order a buffalo chicken, I'm expecting a buffalo cutlet, not the boar's head, like scam sliced chicken.
It's like it was like a kid opening up a present and there's nothing in it on Christmas morning and being like, well, you got the box and the paper and then there's no toy in there.
I'm just glad you were there because like had you not been there, like I definitely wouldn't have been cool. Like, and if I had a car, I'd go back and cause a scene.
Oh my
Throw
God.
it down. I get so mad, like I'm not gonna get the refund. You know, I should play it. You show them a little anger and then you get what you want. I just like lose it. I don't eat the sandwich. Then I walk out and the minute I get out, I'm like more hungry. And I'm like, damn it. I just paid for that.
Just like keep your thing. And then, I've done that before. I'm like, you know what? You don't want my business? You leave. And it's like, well, this is the only establishment in this area. I can't.
And they never care. No. You're not. What, my one sandwich every 6 months is going to tank this company?
Dude, so, I'm happy. I'm happy that you came out. I don't really do intros. I do them at the end if you want to pitch.
That's
I don't know.
I mean, you can see me at LOL Comedy Club.
Yeah, no, I do them at the end, and then we can just talk, pitch it at the end. But, dude, the reason I wanted to bring you on is, one, you're one of the funniest people.
Oh, thank you very much.
I mean, yeah, that I think I know. And also, in terms of stories, I think you have some of the craziest stories. Like, dude, yesterday when I literally called you and was like, hey, do you want to come out and do a couple podcast episodes? And you didn't even say hello. You just started talking about your roommate.
Dude, I think you called during the altercation.
So can I set this up? As soon as I call Mike on the phone, he answers the phone, and it's like a little bit loud. It sounds like he was almost like outside.
No, I was like in my room by the window. I might have been outside actually at that point.
So, dude, what can you tell the people what is going on in your life right now?
It's always with these living situations. Like, you know what it is? It's the penalty for being poor. That's you're just penalized. They're like, this is what you get. You got roommates. So it's Saturday morning. I'm sleeping in. Yeah. Did my shows. Yeah. Day off. And I just hear some like hood dude yelling. And like he was like, I thought he was rapping, and I knew things were going wrong because I knew who brought him in. It's my roommate. I have a roommate who's he smokes crack. He's addicted to like everything you can be addicted to.
I mean, just that in general, like the amount of people who are able to even just understand having a roommate that smokes crack is maybe less than 1% of people. That is, nobody who's listening to this can relate to that.
Yeah,
I can't.
Like my family, I don't want my family to ever know. I mean, they might see this podcast, but
dude, people are gonna start Venmoing you to be like
that. I need to get it. Get me out of there. Exactly. So I hear this madness. I did in my head. I like rolled over and I like put the sheet over my head. I'm like, I'm just gonna sleep through it. And I was like, but then I got like that vibe, like there's gonna be violence. So I get out. And he brought some hood dude or some guy, right? And this is how he introduces him. This guy's a train wreck. He smokes, like I come in from work sometimes and he'll be passed out on the floor in someone else's room. And he didn't like fall asleep on the floor. He did a head first, crack pipe in hand.
Yeah.
So first of all, why are you passing out on crack? You should be running around. And anyway, so this is how he introduced me to this guy who I immediately did not like. And I was like, I didn't want him in my house. He goes, yo, man, he's a good dude. This is my mentor. And I was like, he's your mentor? I was like, bang up jog you're doing, bro. And he's like, yeah, I'm just showing him the room. And he was showing him initially, not his room, but my roommate's room, who was asleep. He opened his door and he showed him his room. He goes, and yeah, you can have this room. And my roommate, that's where the beef woke up. Okay. So he gets up, and he's had it with this other, because he's beside this crack guy, and there's always problems, obviously. And the crack guy had been going in his room. He's like the most unslick guy.
Hold on. How many roommates? You have, it's 4 roommates, including you?
Yeah, 4 total. 2 bathrooms, 4 rooms. It's kind of, if you walk in
Queens,
it's like a halfway house. It's got that halfway house smell of like cigarettes, and like there's always a little bit of feet somewhere, Yeah. It's just gross.
Yeah. And how much do you pay a month, each of you?
I pay, $850 for my room, which is pretty big, but I only pay $750 because we have no gas. And we haven't had gas for a month, and it's not going to end. Like, you talk to the landlord, he isn't like, oh, we're on it. It's basically like indefinite.
It's like, hey, if you will knock $100 off the rent indefinitely if you want to live without gas, it's going to be summer. You don't really need heat, right?
Yeah, so my standards have been so lowered, I just don't care. Like, I can get away. I was taking cold showers for a while, ice cold.
Dude.
And, dude, that's not even bad. One time the landlord brought me in the basement. He wanted me to do some work, and he's a third world guy. You know, he's like a Bangladeshi guy.
Yeah.
So they're super cheap.
Yeah.
And he brought me down, and I know how to deal with them, so I gave him like a real price. I'm not going to do the favor price because they're cheap. So he wanted me to do something. I went down there. I gave him a price. It was $1,200. His head almost exploded. And during the thing, he wanted me to use old material, right? He goes, can you chop these doors up? You can use them as 2x4s. So I'm going to be sawing. First of all, it's not even flat wood. Then he showed me
ripping doors.
Yeah, he has like 50 doors that he saved. Then he showed me sheetrock. There had been a flood, and it was like it's like warped and moldy. He's like, "You use this? I go, "No, I know use this. I need new sheetrock." And I didn't realize. I look over, and there's a guy sitting on a toilet taking a shit. So we're in some guy's apartment. I don't even know it, and he has no door for his bathroom. And I just look at the landlord and go, "Dude, should we be down here?" The guy was so embarrassed. He goes, "No, it's fine." So there's some guy who lives in it's basically like, your garage with like paint cans. That's his house. And he has no door in his bathroom. And this guy comes down whenever he wants with no announcement.
Holy shit. Oh my God. I mean, he's got to be living there for free. That's the only positive.
I would think it's probably one of those, he's like a Mexican dude. So it's probably like, I hope it's like $200 a month or something.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So getting back, so now you have, did you end up doing the job for this guy, first of all?
Oh, absolutely not. It was $1,200. He was expecting like $50.
Okay.
Their rates, because like they'll bring like their brother-in-law and have him like working as like a slave for 10 years because he doesn't speak English. He doesn't know like what the currency's worth. Yeah. And they sleep on like a rug. And I mean, I like the hard work and all that, but
yeah, no, I mean, it's never good. It's never good when you're going to do a job for someone and before you even start, they're already like negotiating hard with the price. It's like, dude, this is only going to get worse from here.
Yes, if you live there, these guys, they try to get you like, he comes into, I paint my rooms because the place is a dump and I paint and I just don't want to live like that. Mm-hmm. So then he'll come out and he'll be like, he'll show the ceilings, there's all like stains.
Yeah.
And he'll point, he'll be like, you can just with a brush. I'm like, what do you mean? Do you want me to paint the ceiling for free? That's what he wants. He wants you to paint, like, because then he'd be like, just a little more until the whole room is painted. Yeah. He negotiates. He has guys working downstairs, and it's like every step of the way you just hear them swearing. They're like, we need more. And he'll like, I sweep. And they're Bangladeshi too. So he'll like try to like get in on the work because they don't want to spend the money.
Oh my God. That's so funny. So is this your current landlord, you said?
Yeah.
This is the guy who's refusing to give you guys heat and is like, we're working on it, but we're not.
Yeah, I assume the gas stuff is all illegal. I actually talked to my sister. She's kind of up on the lawn. She's like, you don't even have to. She's like, you can take $50 off a day, which is like basically you'd be living for free. It's illegal what they're doing.
I mean, I'm not positive about what the laws are in New York, but I can almost guarantee that, yes, that is illegal. What you could do in Massachusetts, for example, is that you would take your rent and just not pay. You guys could stop paying rent, and what you would do, you would put it in a bank account, like essentially like in an escrow account for them to fix it, and then you wouldn't have to pay rent until it was fixed. And then if like they eventually would sue you or evict you, but you would have the money that you could pay if you need it. But you don't have to pay rent if like there isn't at least in Massachusetts, which is a very pro like tenant state, you wouldn't have to pay anything.
Yeah,
until they fix the problem.
The thing I like about this place is there's no bills in my name. I'm not on a lease. It's month to month. But like the guy will always, he brought me in. He loves me because like everyone else there disrespects him. So like they scream at him over, and I just don't care. And he's like, you're a good guy. You're a good guy. You're in charge now. But I'm not, and I'm not on a lease. So I just agree to get out of it. I'm like, oh yeah, I got you, man. I'll rent the room out, and I'll go on Facebook and put on Gypsy Housing or whatever. But
So going back now, we're full circle here. We understand 4 of you living in this apartment in Queens.
Yeah.
And you were what's going on with this
Oh yeah, so he brings
What's going on with
he
this
brings
roommate?
his mentor over that I assume he met on the train, and a brouhaha breaks out, and in the middle of the almost brawl, that's where I really had to go down the hall and deal with it. I just see this dragon-sized cloud of smoke, and I realize he's smoking crack during the altercation.
So he gets a huge crack hit, and it was almost like Popeye. He hits the crack, he goes, and then he puts his hands up. He's like, you have no idea how fast I am with the hands.
It gives
My
him
other
energy.
roommate's in his face. And then that mentor guy is chiming in, left and right. He's like, you guys need to treat this guy better. And I'm like, who? The guy who smokes crack and eats everybody's food, and his excuse is, yeah, I don't like these guys. Let them come at me. That's what he says. He was eating this kid. So the kid comes home, was like a nice comedian. He's like a young kid. Mm-hmm. And his whole thing is someone used to bully him at his house and eat his food. And he comes in, and this huge bear of a guy is eating his hamburger meat raw. Right? And it's wherever he's eating, he's not just eating. It's always all over the floor.
Dude, what?
And for some reason, he cuts himself every night. So there's blood. And his excuses are ludicrous. He'll be like, dude, it's that's chocolate syrup. I'm like, dude, I know the difference between chocolate syrup and you bleeding all over the floor. He never cleans up either. He'll apologize, but not clean up. His apologies are half-assed. He'll be like, yo, sorry about eating your food and wrecking the kitchen and just not clean it up.
Sorry about eating your food and bleeding all over the furniture. What can I say? It's crack.
Yeah, and he's also been this is what set off him and the other roommate initially. He had a girl over, and he's trying to, do his thing, work a girl in our place. And we don't live in a fancy place already, but we got a nice TV. Mm-hmm. And he comes in, the crack bear, he comes in.
Which I think for someone who's probably addicted to crack and at times sleeping outside, a nice TV is a big selling point.
And you know what? I guess I got to explain to them because usually when you're on crack, you wouldn't be eating and all this other passing out. He's on everything. He's hooked on everything. He's on all these government drugs. He's not hyped up like you'd expect. Okay. Usually he's in between. He's up and down, and he comes in when this guy's he's having a romantic night in the living room. He has a place to himself. He comes in with the homeless guy who sleeps under the bridge up the street, and this guy's arm is hanging on by a thread. Everyone knows him, and my roommate said he smelled him before he got in. He just smelled it, and he goes, "Yo," he's like, "Bro, what are you doing?" And he's like. Their whole thing is he's just saying he's there for water, which doesn't make any sense at all. They're there for crack and whatever else I don't want to know what they were up to. And he's like, this is my friend, and he threatened the kid. And I mean, how's the date going after that? If I was a girl, even it's over.
This is the kid who brought a girl back to your apartment, and then
this guy
walked in on the crackhead with the dude who
the crackhead walks in the front door, and he's trying to bring in his new found homeless buddy.
Oh my God.
And our roommate has been sleeping. It's the 7 train. There's an archway. He has been sleeping up there, even though he has an apartment 2 feet down the road.
Can you imagine?
You know what it is? He's becoming. I'm watching you're like, how do people become homeless? I'm watching the origin story of a homeless guy.
Dude, can you imagine? That is definitely on a website somewhere. There is definitely a viral TikTok going around from that girl's perspective of hey, I went on a first date with this person. It went really well. We decided to go back to his apartment. He was like, I got a nice TV in Queens. They go back, and then she's like, yeah, I was there. Things were going great. All of a sudden, multiple homeless people came into the apartment. We could smell them before they even came into the door.
Oh, man.
Holy
the cops
shit.
knew him, too, because the cops came after that Saturday. I went out, and I come back. The cops are there, and they're, filling out a report. Mm-hmm. My landlord never gets to the point. Sorry, not point. He's he's Bangladeshi and broken English, but he just will. That's why he'll never get to the point and just jabber you with, word salad. And he's doing it to the cops. I'm like, get to the point. I can see the cops getting so angry.
Oh, yeah, they have no patience for that.
And then my roommate's yeah, this guy came in with, his arm hanging on by thread. They're they know him by name. They're even to them, you can tell he's
John?
Yeah,
they were tracks? Yeah.
They were horrified that he was in our apartment. And these are hard New York cops. But it's
they don't balk at many things, but I'll tell you. They're you let this guy inside of a property? Are you crazy?
Yeah, he's a big dude, the guy. He's a big football type, high school suit. He has that whole story. He told me I'm real suspicious when
Where'd he grow up?
He said, I think Queens, but someone told me maybe Long Island.
Interesting. Okay.
He tells me a lot of stories. I don't know if they're like all horror tales, and I don't think they're true.
Are you telling me that you're not sure if the dude who does crack and bleeds all over your kitchen is telling the truth all the time?
He always has like the most ridiculous excuses. Like he'll be like, it's like I'm missing a ribeye steak, and he's like, oh, I mixed it up with mine. He doesn't shop, so if you see him eating, like whenever I walk him in the kitchen, I'm like, I know it's a problem. I go, dude, none of this food is his. He doesn't eat. I drink goat's milk. I don't drink cow's milk. Dude, no one drinks goat's milk. You know, that's why I get it. I'm like, dude, no roommate will touch that.
Why do you drink goat's milk? I didn't even know. To be honest, this is. I'm embarrassed to say this. I didn't even know goats made milk.
Dude, every mammal makes milk. You can get whale milk. Dude, whales have milk. I'm telling you. Well, you can't buy it at the supermarket yet, but it's there.
Dude, where? How are they even getting whale's milk?
Dude, no one's getting it. I'm just saying they do produce milk.
It's a mammal.
Yeah,
right?
there's no like whale milking farms.
Can you imagine how much whale's milk would cost if they actually were able to get it?
Dude, they're listening to this podcast. In a month, you're gonna see like an ad on your Facebook. Whale's milk
now available at Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. And whale's milk.
All the it's gonna do this. It's gonna make you skinny.
God. Can you imagine how difficult it would be to milk a whale?
Yeah, it would be a process, man.
You got to bring in like multiple. You got to bring in like shipping like those cargo ships to just like get it out of the water and like milk it. And then
one of those oil, those things that you like suck oil up with in the ocean. That's how you just hook it into the whale.
It's like a giant vacuum to get the whale up.
All right, well, let's get back to the goat's milk. So
I guess so that's how they make goat's cheese. So I guess that they do. Right?
Yeah, they have
goat cheese.
It's supposed to be healthier. I only use it I sparsely use milk. Just in my coffee. It's supposed to be a little healthier.
I'm not gonna lie. It sounds like it would be gross, but
it actually isn't that bad. But anyway, he like drank all the goat's milk, and I'm almost like he's like, oh, was that yours? I'm like, no, was it your goat's milk? And I asked him. This is what I don't really wise off him because he's so out of it in his mind. I'm like, dude, do you even know what like goat's milk is? Like he goes on binge. He's like a bear. That's what Artie calls him, the Xanax Bear. Like he's just out of his mind. He eats everything in sight. And he's real disrespectful about it.
Has Artie met this guy?
No, but that would be a funny meetup, dude. Artie's met all my other horrible roommates, and he goes at them. You know how Artie is? Yeah. Like he had him and the I lived with a albino Puerto Rican kid, and me and him were boys for a while. Yeah. And then he moved in for like 2 years. He had moved in what I thought was his girlfriend, but she was really weird. And she didn't talk. I thought she was a raver. Because she'd come in at 4 a.m. He was a blackout drunk, and he wouldn't wake up.
Wait, is this the one that came in through your window?
No, that's another of that same whole hell house that I lived in.
Was this when you were living with like 7 roommates
in
the basement?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But it turns out his girlfriend, who all I knew is one day she was mad sad. She didn't speak. She was like kind of Russian. So she was in the kitchen, and I was like, you want me to like cook you breakfast? And I cooked her breakfast, and we sat down, and we kind of were talking. She doesn't speak that good, and I was like, so what do you do for work? And she's like, I work in a dungeon. And you know me, I'm like, I'm just in shock. There's no follow-up questions. I'm just like, I've heard enough. So anyway, it turns out that...
You didn't have any follow-up questions?
No, I was just too put off by it.
You just cooked her eggs and went on your day?
Yeah, and then I find out, so she turns out to be a man. It's a tranny. Transvestite?
I don't think you're allowed to say that.
Well, whatever the terminology is. And
I think it's transgender is the...
There you go. And... she's not paying rent, and they're again disgusting people. They leave food everywhere. Like I come in, the albino kid is he's doing dishes, and there'd been a dead mouse floating in the water, but he can't see it
the entire time.
Yeah, so his hands are in it, and I was so mad at him from all the stuff because they would destroy the apartment. I'd have to clean it up. There was like a dog who and the dog would poop, and they would just walk by it, like the owner of it. I'd watch him just walk. I'm like, dude, did he just? Are you serious? Do you know how bad dog shit smells inside of a house? It's different. It's in the air. And so he's washing it, and he threw up. I go, hey, bro, there's a dead mouse in there. And he just threw up into the sink. But
so now there's a dead mouse and throw up in the dishwater.
Yeah, and I used to clean the place once a week. Artie and Tim used to stay over, and Tim used to sleep on the couch. And at first we didn't tell him, like, dude, that's the dog couch. This huge dog slept on. And Tim woke up in all hives because it was like all dog grease. And Tim's shirtless constantly in this place. No one knows him because it's like the living room was way in the front. But Tim's just shirtless, like in the fridge.
So I remember you described this to me once, so people understand this type of place you were living in. It was in like the basement, like a basement level unit. Wasn't it in like?
It was a huge brownstone. Yeah.
But then the guy just like cordoned it off, so there was like a running hallway, and then it was like rooms, like you would get in like a movie when they show like a European sex worker.
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Like that's what it looked like.
There was 7 bedrooms, and the hallway was super narrow. Like, my dad walked in when I first moved in, and he walked right out, and he said he had a panic attack. And he didn't come back in. He sat on the stoop out front.
Oh, my God.
And my dad's not, like, a panicky guy, but I think he had just had a heart attack. So, like, I think you can get claustrophobic with that.
Yeah. Oh, my
But, yeah,
God,
everyone in there was a problem. Like, everyone's story... Nothing like everyone's story initially was not that like one guy he just got divorced, another guy broke up with his girl for 5 years, but then
I mean, no offense, Mike, the type of person who would be willing to live in a basement apartment with 8 other people, I don't know if those people are gonna be, not a problem.
They're all their lives were in shambles, and which guy was I talking about there?
I mean, that's the thing I don't understand. You like have it together. You have a good job. Why do you choose?
I don't make
to
a lot of money.
continue
That's
to
the
live with these people?
Oh, if it's money, I would never live with roommates. I can't stand. I grew up in a big family. Like it's my dream to live alone. Maybe a dog. That's it. I like dogs.
Okay.
But anyways, everybody's thing sounded normal. Like divorced from a woman. This guy broke up with his girl, and then all of a sudden I see these weird dudes in the living room. And I assumed he was doing heroin. They had that vibe. You know when you walk in, you say hello, they don't even look at you. They won't say hello. And it turned out they were all... So this guy had just turned gay or whatever, and he's on Grindr. And he's bringing home like these weird, sketchy dudes. And one of them, one day when I'm sleeping, again, Saturday morning is like the attack plan for all these lunatics. Sleeping in, just trying to have a... I'm dreaming about my coffee.
Yeah, yeah.
The window opens up, and these feet come in my bedroom. And it's one of the gay dudes. And he's there to rob the guy that he's met on Grindr, my roommate. But his whole thing is he's like, oh, his feet are in. And when I wake up to get up and I'm like, whatever, he's like, oh, is Kirk here? I'm like, is Kirk in my bedroom that you just broke into? No. He knew he was on vacation, so he was going to sneak in my room and rob him.
Shit, dude.
He got robbed a couple times, and that's what I told him. I'm like, dude, your lifestyle is your business, but you don't know these people. Like from a hole in the wall.
I mean, it is just picturing that Saturday morning, New York City, feet come through the window and you're like, get up, ready to fight. Yeah, dude. I would imagine that I would be fighting for my life in that scenario.
Yeah, it was every week there. There was no security. That was a Hasid place.
Hold on. Are you telling me it's not a doorman building?
Instead of doormen, we had stoop guys.
There's no security? Are you telling me that there's not someone who's accepting packages and stopping vagrants from entering the lobby?
No, there wasn't security, but there were guys out front who did have guns on them.
Jesus.
That was our stoop guys. And they didn't move, which I lived in the basement, so I didn't have to go on those stairs, but they didn't move for the people who lived there. So I would watch these liberal white people just squirm, trying to like get up without...
Excuse me.
I'm sorry that you've set up shop at where I live, because they didn't live there. And some of them, one time, like
what
some of the...
What neighborhood was it in?
It was Bed-Stuy.
Okay.
And some of the stoop guys, they were normal. What impressed me about stoop guys is they could drink and smoke blunts. I would wake up in the morning, they'd be drinking and smoke. I'd come home from work, and they'd be at the same level. Like, they weren't wasted, but there were a couple guys who would...
go home, nap, come back.
No, they would... black out on the just strewed out, and I'd watch the white girls like trying to get around it. Oh, it was so funny. We lived beside an AA place.
That's good.
So when I was super poor, I would go in there and get AA coffee, which is the lowest form of coffee. It's so strong and it's so gross, and they use that. It's so 80s. They use that powdered milk and like sweet and low.
I've heard. Isn't that like a stereotype about AA is that the coffee's like horrible?
It's super strong. That's their thing.
Okay.
And they crank butts.
Oh,
like
yeah.
When they give up that addiction, they become sex addicts, cigarette, and just smoke butts and drink like 10 cups of coffee a day.
Dude, I mean, that's that. Dude, the fact that you have so many of these roommate stories blows my mind. I only have one bad roommate story, and it was literally nothing compared to what you just told me. I mean, I lived with one time actually twice. I had a female roommate, but like the second time it was a friend of mine. One time I met this girl off of Craigslist, and it was one of those things. She just had to move in because it was when I don't know, I was like it was getting to the end of the line. I had like 3 days before I had to pay for the whole month by myself. And I was like, yeah, move on in. She seemed normal. Dude, her mom one time came and like I had dirty dishes in the sink because we didn't have a dishwasher. She took the dirty dishes and put them in my bed.
Dude, that's way over the line.
I came home, they weren't there. Like her mom literally came into the apartment, put them in the dish, like a dish bin, and then put them in my room. And I was like, I lost my mind. I was like screaming at them. And then they like came back as I was like literally, I threw them in the sink. Multiple dishes broke. I like lost it. It was building for a little bit. There were some weird things that kept happening. Like she would always leave like Chinese food out. She would order takeout, leave it out for like 3 days. And I would be like, why isn't she throwing this away? And then like the next day I would come in, like day 4, it would be in the fridge.
Oh, no.
I was like, what are you doing? I was like, that is poison now.
Yeah.
That food is going to make you so ill. That is poisonous. But yeah, so it was little things like that kept building. She would never come out of her. Like at this point, I'd lived with a lot of people who I was kind of like friends with. Like I'd become friends with them. And like you know, you're friendly. You can watch TV together. You hang out. You talk about your days, you know. This girl never came out of her room. She would always just stay in her room with the door closed and like very minimal talking. So it was a different, like at that time in my life, it was something I'd never experienced before. So I was like, oh, she must like hate me, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah, dude, it was very bad. But yeah, she like, her mom like literally came one day to visit her and there were some dishes in the sink. Dude, I got home from work. I literally got home from work and they were in my room. And she texted me during the day. She was like, hey, my mom, sorry. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I come home and I see it. And then they walk in like from dinner or whatever. Dude, I like lost my shit. And the mom was like, I was going to do a show. I was going actually to Limelight. And I was running over. And the mom was like, I threw them all back in the sink. And she was like, excuse me, Dylan, are you going to do your dishes? And I was like, do not. I was like, excuse me? What did you say? And then she was like, you know, and she started like kind of like giving me attitude, yelling at me. And dude, I immediately had this moment where I was like a child that was like an adult was like reprimanding. And then I was like, whoa, hold on. That took me a while to realize as an adult when I was like, I literally like stopped her. I was like, and I was just like, this is not an adult yelling at a child. I was like, I'm an adult and this is my house. And I was like, do not fucking speak to me like that in my house. And she was like, oh.
So you don't even live here,
dude, I was
lady.
So mad. I was furious. Dude, it got to a point where like the last 2 months we were living together, we had no toilet paper or anything in the bathroom. And I kept like I would keep toilet paper in my room and bring it into. So, I mean.
I know the exact. I used to live with a guy and.
It's not, you know.
Back in the early days.
Everybody listening is like, I mean, Dylan, how are you going to follow up fucking Mike's crackhead story?
And I don't
for the that girl,
people don't know. Like I don't drink any. Like I quit drinking so long ago, so I don't party. Like when you party, like there's a reason. You deserve it. You know, you've screwed up. You earn these guys. Like I'm dead sober. I don't do anything. I don't cause any trouble, and it's like it just keeps getting worse. I had one guy. This is when we were young though, when I deserved it, and I'd be like, dude, we're out of toilet paper. He's like, dude, there's plenty of toilet paper in the bathroom. And I go in, there's a yellow page. I go, dude, that's not toilet paper. Like, and he would always look at you like you're some sort of, he'd look at you like, you're such a moron.
Dude, what are you, rich, dude? You're too rich to use the yellow pages to wipe your ass? What do you mean?
I just hop in the shower. Dude, that's going to cut you.
Oh my God, what an insane fucking, just reading the businesses and then ripping out a page and wiping your ass.
Yeah, I don't think the youth don't know what the yellow pages are anymore, probably. Do they still have
I'm
them?
sure they do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a phone book.
Yeah.
It's a phone book. People know what a phone book is. Oh my God. Well, how do you feel? That's 30 minutes. That's not bad.
I feel like that's a lot for them to handle.
I mean, that was that was maybe my favorite. I didn't really contribute at all other than just laughing so much, but I mean, that was wonderful for me.
It's good to get it off my chest because when you live like this,
Yeah.
you start in your head, like if you don't talk about it, you start to go, like, am I crazy? Like maybe I'm the crazy one. Like this can't be.
You've just accepted all this as completely normal, and
Yeah, I'm used to it. Like cleaning up blood in the kitchen, it doesn't even faze me.
yeah, dude, unless you're like a medical professional, you should never have to clean up blood that isn't yours.
Yeah, multiple 2 times in one night.
Unless you are a medical professional or a murderer, there is no excuse for you to ever have to clean up blood that is not yours.
Oh man, yeah.
So yeah, that's a good place to wrap it up. You feel like?
Yeah.
So tell the people where, all the socials, anything you want to plug, where you perform, all that stuff.
Mike T. Kerrigan on Instagram. I think I've closed my Facebook, so just the Instagram. Facebook, obviously, caused a lot of problems for me. And
yeah.
And you can see me at LOL Comedy Club in Times Square Wednesday through Sunday, almost every week. Old Man Hustle Brooklyn is now open. I'll be back there, and that's really it for now. I'm at the Pair, but I don't know when exact. Once in a while.
If any of the people listening in the city, absolutely go see Mike. One of the funniest people I know. Really such a pleasure to have him. Thank you guys for listening. At Dylan Krasinski on Instagram, TikTok. Don't follow me on Facebook. You probably already do if you're listening to this, but Instagram, TikTok. Sea Otter Town Hall, the podcast on Instagram, TikTok. And that is it. We will be back next week. Thank you very much for listening. Any last words you want to say?
Yeah, let me stay at your house, please. I can't take any more of this.
That's it, folks. Thank you very much. Good night.